All right. I think that's it for announcements. So let's just take a minute and see who's in the room with us, who we're sitting together here with tonight, taking in one another, welcoming one another with our hearts as we practice together, doing this truly noble practice together. Just welcoming and feeling welcomed. So for anyone who's new to Metta practice or new here tonight, there'll be a guided sit on Metta, loving kindness. It's a cultivation of goodwill, of love, of care. And it's one of the 40 meditation subjects taught by the Buddha, actually one of the 40 ways of developing concentration that he taught. It's a way of settling and calming and focusing the mind. And with that settled, calm, focused mind, that mind that becomes unified, we'd be able to see deeper truths. So, in the bigger picture scheme of awakening, the path, the journey of awakening, it's one of the many wholesome states that we can cultivate that diminish unwholesome states. And by wholesome states, I mean states of mind that lead us to more freedom, to more ease, to more happiness, to more joy, to more wisdom. And the unwholesome states lead us to more suffering, more dukkha, more dissatisfaction, more discomfort. So, Metta practice in particular, as I mentioned last week, I would focus a bit today on cultivating our loving kindness for people we've had challenges with or difficulties with. And part of the reason or part of the results of doing that is we're lightening the load, the burden on our hearts that we carry from things like resentment or bitterness or hatred, anger. Those states of mind, okay, so like every moment, our mind is cultivating something, whether wholesome or unwholesome, whether leading to greater freedom or greater suffering. Every moment that we spend cultivating loving kindness, inviting in other qualities like equanimity or joy for the good of others, inviting in tranquility or generosity, we are creating the conditions for more of that to arise in the future. And every moment that we're unconsciously rolling in mental habits or mental fixations, just on that habit train of anger, bitterness, judgment, criticism, hatred, whatever, we're practicing that and we're creating the conditions for more of that to arise in the future. And so recognizing that every single moment we are practicing something and creating the conditions for more arising of that to happen in the future. Here we want to bring our wisdom, our very clear intention to cultivate wholesome states as much as possible. And through cultivating wholesome states, the unwholesome states naturally diminish. They naturally become weaker. They naturally arise gradually, less and less they get less powerful. They have less of a hold on us, less control over us. And so in this way, our practice is the deepest form of empowerment. So as we move towards our practice, towards the guided sitting time, just inviting the body to relax, checking in and asking the body what would be conducive to relaxation and ease in the body and relaxation and ease in the heart. Whether it's sitting, whether it's laying down, whether it's leaning the back for support, letting the body be comfortable and at ease. Letting the body settle. Letting the breath settle. Before we go to that category of people we may have had challenges or difficulties with, we'll cultivate loving kindness where it flows easily, where it flows more naturally. So bringing to mind either yourself, or if it's very difficult to cultivate metta for yourself, towards someone who it flows naturally, someone who's been kind to you, someone you like or love, or a pet, or a grandma, or a being towards whom it feels a bit easier. We'll start in our heart center. Inviting the light to arise in our heart center. Inviting it to glow brighter and grow outwards. Shining through our whole body, through our whole being. It's like a relaxing energy that lets the body soften. Letting this light grow brighter. You can visualize yourself or this other being, the easy being, letting the light shine out. Touching their heart, touching your heart. Seeing this being glowing in this light. this light shining through them. Seeing this being receive this kind energy and care. Feeling good receiving it, maybe gently smiling. This warm light growing a little brighter. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be light in body and spirit. May you be safe and protected. May you love yourself just as you are. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Seeing this being glowing in this kindness. Feeling joy at receiving this care. Coming back into the heart center, feeling that light glowing in the body, radiating out from the heart. I'll offer these forgiveness phrases by my teacher, Larry Yang. For any way that I have caused harm to myself through judgment, action, self-blame, indifference, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed, may I forgive myself. May I allow myself to be a student of life and to make mistakes. May I forgive myself. And if I cannot do so in this moment, may I be able to forgive myself in the future. Bringing to mind another being, someone we may have had difficulty or some challenge with. Maybe not the person who's caused us the most harm in life, unless you feel ready to go there. Someone towards whom it's possible to feel metta for. And if it feels difficult, switching back to an easy being or towards yourself with kindness and compassion. No judgment. Just the wholesome intentions to cultivate kindness that can eventually extend to all beings. Bringing to mind this being, and we'll offer forgiveness before we move into metta. For any way that you have caused harm to me, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed, may I forgive you. May I allow you to be a student of life and to make mistakes. May I recognize your humanity in the midst of my pain. May I forgive you, and if I cannot do so in this moment, may I be able to forgive you in the future. Tuning back into the body, inviting relaxation. If any tension has arisen, inviting ease into the heart. And also asking forgiveness for any way that I have caused harm to you through judgment, action, self-blame, indifference, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed. I ask for your forgiveness. May you accept me with my imperfections and mistakes. May you allow me to learn from my actions. May you forgive me, and if you cannot do so in this moment, may you be able to forgive me in the future. Again, inviting ease into the body and ease into the heart. Relaxation through the body. Visualizing this person in front of us who, like us, wishes not to suffer. Tuning into our hearts and letting this light glow from the heart center, radiating through our body, our loving kindness, our wise kindness, inviting it to grow brighter and outwards, touching their heart, seeing them glowing in this light. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be light in body and spirit. May you be safe and protected. May you love yourself as you are. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Bringing our attention back into our heart center. Inviting the body to relax, the face to be soft, the brow and the jaw to relax, the neck and shoulders to relax, the abdomen to hang soft and loose. As this light of kindness shining out from our hearts illuminates our whole being, filling the entire body and mind space. Letting it grow brighter and shine out past the body like a sun in all directions, encompassing everyone in this room together. Our friends held in this light, these beings we walk the path with. Letting this light shine through. Holding everyone in this metta And letting it in, being held by everyone in this metta. This beautiful field of wisdom, the energies of our compassionate hearts together. And shining it outwards, brighter and brighter over the whole world in all directions. North, south, east, and west. Above and below, over the land, to all the beings in the air and in the water. Letting this light shine to and through all these beings. Holding the whole world in this kindness. All beings in all forms. Human and non-human. Held in this light. All beings who are suffering. All who are in grief and fear. All beings who are being oppressed, as well as the oppressors, those receiving harm and those causing harm. Knowing that by nature all beings experience suffering. All beings are subject to aging, sickness, and death, separation from everything they hold dear. And knowing that all beings are the owners and heirs of their actions of body, speech, and mind. May all beings grow in wisdom. grow in wholesome actions of body, speech, and mind. May we all grow in the wholesome actions that lead us to freedom. Again, tuning back into the heart center, inviting ease and relaxation into the heart, into this field of body and mind. Holding ourselves in this kindness. Dwelling in this light, in this ease. Just take a minute and let that settle and integrate. Stretch, drink water. So I dropped Larry Yang's forgiveness phrases in the chat. They can be such a support to metta practice as we notice the places where it doesn't flow as easily. Sometimes it can be painful seeing the places that it doesn't flow where we would like it to flow. Or it can be painful just to realize or tune in and be sitting with and being with the feeling, becoming sensitized to the feelings of our resentment or bitterness or negative judgments that we hold against other people or against ourselves. It can be really painful seeing that. So it's natural for a lot of different emotions to arise as we cultivate metta in all the stories that start coming to the surface and being seen, or painful clinging that we end up seeing through trying to offer our kindness and care in a place where we haven't been. Before inviting in questions or sharing, I wanted to read something I read a few weeks ago in Metta Monday from the First Free Women, a poem. These are poems of awakening by the first women who became enlightened under the Buddha, and this is the most recent translation. A much more poetic translation than previous ones. But these are from the traditional suttas, the ancient texts, Buddhist texts that have been handed down. All the Buddha's discourses are in the same canon that this is from. This one's called Upalawana, Blue Lotus. That's her name. I hated my father, and I hated my mother for making him my father. I left home to get away from him, and then found him everywhere I went. But I trained hard. I learned to make my hands glow red with fire, and I handled the darkness with a chain. I swore no one would ever hurt me again. Then one night, while meditating in the woods, I was grabbed from behind. This sal tree is in full bloom, the man said. And here, lying beneath, I find a sal flower with a lovely shaved head. Tell me, my little flower, aren't you afraid? I turned around. He looked just like my father. It would have taken so little, a flick of a finger, to make him burn. I looked into his eyes and saw the 1,000,000,000 lifetimes that he and I had been running around this same circle together. Then I walked all the way down to the darkest parts of my own mind and stood in front of the blazing roar as countless lifetimes of fear and revenge threw themselves into the furnace. Burn with me, my sisters, and when you're ready, come up from that dark place where you've gone to be alone forever. The path leads directly through these vast worlds of fear and hate. We have all wounded and been wounded. We have all been made to feel weak. Yes, there is great strength in the darkness. Yes, the mind can be used as a knife or a chain. Yes, your whole world is burning itself to the ground. Ask the lizard how long this has been going on. Ask the sunflower and her million seeds. The mind is more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Ask yourself what you are really prepared to give up in order to be free. I love that. Ask yourself, what are you really willing to give up in order to be free? And this practice shows us some things that we need to give up in order to be free. As we direct our loving kindness towards ourselves and towards other people, we start seeing things that we cling to that really keep us from freedom. We start feeling into the way that mind states like our bitterness and our anger, our hatred, are painful for us inside. And we get to see our agency to change that, gradually, drop by drop, as our metta grows stronger, just drop by drop by drop. So cultivating our loving kindness, or at least setting the intentions towards beings that we have challenges with and difficulty with, that is also cultivating metta for ourselves. That is compassion for ourselves. Because we are the ones who suffer as we hold on to our bitterness, or our resentment, our judgments. The Buddha described those kinds of mind states as, I think it's from the simile of the saw. I think that's the name of the sutta that this comes from. But he described it as like having the carcass of a dead animal or a dead snake or a dead human hanging from your neck. Like it's we who suffer as we feed those mind states. And how empowering to have practices that help us grow and shift away from them. So we have about 5-6 minutes left. Is there any sharing or questions or anything anyone would like to offer? Feel free to unmute or raise the little Zoom hand or drop in the chat.
have a question. We talk about extending metta to folks who we, have difficulties with. And I often find that difficult with people who, you really love or you really care about, who don't necessarily want you in their lives anymore. Sort of adds layer on layer. And yeah, I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
Thank you, Mav. That's a good question. So something that I've noticed in difficult relationships with people that I'm no longer in contact with, whether by my choice or by their choice, in cultivating loving kindness for them. Okay, so the disjunct to begin with starts from a place of conflict or a place of pain. And as we cultivate our loving kindness for them, whoever decided to, end the relationship or separate, what's happening in our own hearts is we're developing peace. We're developing, it's like resolution, ease in our hearts, and love. Our metta is different than the attached, clinging kind of love. It's truly like a generous, altruistic love that we're cultivating as we do metta practice. And so whether the feeling is I really want this person in my life and they don't want me in their life and there's pain around that, cultivating our metta shifts away from that and just, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be at ease in your life. May I be peaceful, may I be at ease, may I accept myself and love myself. It's also diminishing clinging in those ways. And yeah, if it's the other way, whether it's our own anger that is creating the separation, then it's also healing and shifting as we cultivate metta in that way also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions as we come down to our final minutes, or things anyone wants to share?
I have a question. Are there different practices for cultivating metta for people that are past or that are spirits in our lives that are not with us anymore?
Thank you, Sydney. So different teachers will teach different things. For example, at the monasteries in Myanmar, they would say, don't do metta for people who are dead. I heard one teacher say, you can't help them. However, those beings, in the Buddhist understanding, they are continuing on in samsara in a different life, in a different form. And yes, I cultivate metta for, say, my grandmas, who have passed. And I don't think there's anything different you need to do metta towards beings who have passed, just as we can do metta for ourselves as I was as a child when I was in pain, something like that. Ultimately, it's cultivating wholesome states. That is leading to more arisings of metta and other wholesome states. So I support that. So here we are at 7. I'm thinking of extending Metta Mondays maybe by 15 minutes or so in the future, because it feels like more, can happen in this time. It goes so fast. Oh, good. There's a heart. So just reflecting back on this hour as we dedicate the merit, all the wholesome states we've cultivated, the strengthening of our metta, the strengthening of our loving kindness that's come through this practice, the sharing in this practice together with friends, the coming together to practice together, and how that mutually supports one another, our energies and our sharing, and getting to offer this love and kindness to one another, and also dwell in this field of loving kindness that others have generated for us. Just letting it all in and appreciating and offering the merits of this practice for the benefit of all beings everywhere in all forms. There's this giant meditation bell. Just keeps on ringing. Happy to see you. Happy to sit with you tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your beautiful practice.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Good night. Good night, Mel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Rabbit.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Mel. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Okay.
Isis is waving at you.
I was back. Bye.